Is there a relationship in your family that is tense or problematic? Listen to this client's story of how the relationship with her sister changed. When she first came to me in January, she had received a letter from her sister and she was kind of stressed about it. They had been out of contact for about 3 years, and it had ended with a conflict over COVID. She didn't want her sister to come without being vaccinated, and it led to an argument that ended up with them not speaking. Mm. She also has had a lifetime of challenges with this sister, although she tends to be the quiet one, the ones that just takes it and doesn't make a big deal about it. But internally, it was a big deal. And what happened when her sister wrote her was that her sister started doing therapy, and she wrote asking if there were any things that she could give an apology for, anything that she had done that she could give an apology for. And my client felt stressed because she didn't want to hurt her. She wasn't sure what she could say or not say. She always kind of felt like she has to be her best self around her. And so she started her work with me on trying, like, the frustration with her sister wanting her to fix her trauma, like wanting her to solve her issues for her by giving her what it is that, she needed to apologize for. And she felt like she was being trapped in this situation with her sister, and kind of almost felt like her sister was wanting her to process her trauma for her. So we worked that, and we saw that there are some different angles on this, that it's not necessarily, it wasn't necessarily that her sister was trying to do that, and she started to get a little space around that. She came back for another session, and she worked that time on the idea that she can't be her best self around her sister. Her sister's kind of gets in your face a little bit. She'll be cooking. You'll run in and show her a picture right then, and she's in the middle of something, and it kind of frustrates her. And her sister just doesn't seem to understand boundaries really well. And so she did the work on that one. I can't be my best self around her, and we started to explore how maybe she could be more of her best self around her sister. And then finally, in the third session, so she ended up replying to her sister's email and then getting a letter back from her. And there was kind of a little bit of resolution happening. Like, she apologized for a few things. She mentioned a few things. And now the worry changed. So the worry now is like, now that her sister had apologized, we're going to start getting closer. And she wasn't so sure she wanted that. On top of that, her mother's 90th birthday was in just a couple weeks, and she was invited. And she was under a lot of beliefs like, sisters should be close and we should get along. And now we're going to be getting closer. And so she worried about what it's going to be like. Her sister might come in and just want to hug more than she wants to, kiss her on the face, which she doesn't like, and kind of pass through boundaries that she would normally not want people to pass through. So she questioned the thought, she thinks I want to be closer than I'm ready to be. And this was really, really interesting. As we explored it, we saw that really it's up to her how close she wants to be. And it may not be that her sister even wants to be that close. She just wants to be able to pop in from time to time and say hi or give a hug, or be at a family gathering. And it wasn't like suddenly we're going to have to become best friends or have to be really close. This is a common thing I see with highly sensitive people, myself included, is, okay, now that we don't have a problem, now does that mean we have to be close, especially with family members? And while there's always a closeness, it may not be that other people expect that of us. And that was the problem here. She was thinking that her sister expected her to be closer. Now the relationship has to go to a deeper level. And so she found a lot of freedom in realizing that that may not be true, and that she has a right to share as much as she wants to. And if she starts to kiss her on the face and she doesn't want to, she can say, I'm just not into that, or she can, find her way of being herself. So all this together pointed out to my client that she actually did have the power to take care of herself, and that her sister didn't need to change. Her sister's always going to be a little bit unaware of boundaries, a little bit in her face, literally. And so this showed her, through her own work, she kind of discovered that she could be the one who decided how close or how much or what and how much she did with her sister or with others. And so when she stopped trying to get her sister to change, then suddenly she realized she was free to be in any particular, any way she wanted with her sister, and she started to feel safe. So the result was they had the birthday party, and she stayed calm, grounded, clear. She set little small boundaries as needed, but she didn't give her power away. She basically stayed in her own business, and what she had feared, this visit, turned out to be one of the best interactions she's ever had with her sister, and the tension just eased between the two of them, and also with the family overall. She said she felt confident, and she felt like it was the most peace she'd ever had around her. And it came from her showing up differently. What was also kind of a byproduct of this work, we're focused on her sister, but it has ripples out into all the different interactions. And she noticed that she stopped stepping in to be the family fixer when others needed things to be resolved, like people were conflicted with each other. And she just kind of said, okay, you guys work it out. And she went on about her business. This is that same thing of staying in her own business rather than getting dependent on other people to change in order to be okay. And so as a result, she started to actually even get a little bit excited about even triggers arising, knowing that they would be pointing to the next level of growth for her. And she started seeing how this unfolding of her own development through exposure to her family was something that she actually wanted. So this is the value of questioning your beliefs. This is why I love the work of Byron Katie. It starts out with whatever's up for you. In this case, her sister had written a letter. It's not like she was setting out to try to change herself or try to work on some particular thing. Life showed her what was up, and in this case, it was a letter. And so we began there, and then life kept showing her next pieces of it. And at each stage of it, she did a little bit more work and questioned a little bit more of her stress, and in the end, noticed quite a significant transformation. This is very common in the work of Byron Katie. If you come to it with an opening, like an open mind, an open heart to exploring all sides of things, like without prejudice. And if you can do that to whatever degree it's possible, you may often find that there is a shift in perspective. And this is what she said. It's not about kind of intellectual insights here or getting some kind of advice about setting boundaries. Those things are fine. But what the work gave her was, as she described it, a felt experience. She wasn't just understanding a concept. She was feeling a shift inside of her emotions on an emotional level. And then she didn't need a lot of reminders to stay calm and be, breathe and all that. It was just, she saw the situation differently. She saw what she needed to do. She saw what she could do. And she just stayed in her own lane. And Suddenly, the whole situation changed without her sister changing at all.